Hello, this is part 4 of my solo journey from Malaysia through Thailand, Laos and Cambodia before heading back home. In this particular video, I cover the 5 days or so that I spent traveling through Cambodia. I cleared the border checkpoint at Nong Kok around mid-afternoon the previous day. Highway 7 from the border into the town of Stung Streng is mostly unpaved and very dusty this time of the year, so the going was pretty slow on the 70 kilometers or so that it took for me to get to the town of Stung Streng. I had decided to spend the night in this town and therefore managed to find my accommodation fairly quickly when I got there. To get to Phnom Penh on this day, I choose the route that runs pretty much parallel to the Mekong and pass through places like Trong Prache, Chlong and Kampong Cham. Kampong Cham is actually where the hilltop temple is located, which you're about to see just in a few minutes on this particular video. Pretty interesting place. From there on, I continue also pretty much parallel to the Mekong as much as I can and eventually enter Phnom Penh pretty late in the evening, and I enter from the northern end. The hilltop Hanche temple complex on the way to Phnom Penh is an interesting place, an interesting stop if you happen to be or choose to be on that route. You can see Hindu temple ruins dating as far back as the 7th century, but also newer Buddhist temples like the one that I take a picture of that you'll see in a minute. But then also much newer Buddhist structures, temples, and even living quarters for the monks, etc., that stay on top of this hill temple complex. Definitely worth a visit. I spent maybe half an hour or so just walking around and then just taking a ride around the temple complex. Although I would typically avoid getting into the heart of a busy city, especially when I'm out riding, a friend told me that the Royal Palace area was worth a visit, but I also wanted to visit the Genocide Museum, which I did the following morning. I would like to explore more of the eastern part of Cambodia and even that of Laos one day, and maybe come back another time, do another trip. But for now, I decided to head down towards the Gulf of Thailand and the Kep Kampot coastline and slowly then make my way back up to west and north and eventually exit back out to Thailand. Fortunately, I reached my destination in Kampot fairly early by lunchtime or so. So after I check into the riverside guest house where I'll be staying, I head back out again as I was keen to explore some of the trails in and around Kampot that I had read about. The trailhead into La Plantation, which you see here, was about maybe half an hour or so away from where I was staying by the riverside. And I must have gone in a good 15 kilometers into the heart of the plantation, explored a few of the trails inside, and took my time just enjoying the scenery and the quiet roads, or trails rather, that I found myself on before eventually, heading out, and going back to have a relaxing afternoon by the river. After a very pleasant evening by the riverside, I head out fairly early the next morning to Bokor, which is not very far at all from where I'm staying, and I spend a good couple of hours, maybe more, exploring Bokor National Park. My initial plan after Bokor was to continue on more along the coastal route headed west and eventually make my way to Battambang. However, I didn't really like the look of the roads as I was heading up that way. Change of plan. I actually end up spending a lot more time at the border checkpoint than I had thought I would. Strangely enough, on the Thailand side, it just took quite a lot of time queuing up, moving from counter to counter, filling up and submitting all the forms that they wanted me to fill up, sorting out various documents and what have you. So by the time I actually got out of the border checkpoint, it was a good maybe an hour and a half that I had been at the border. So I decided to just take the quickest route on the highway and targeted to get into Chanthaburi, where I decided I would spend the night, which I did.